I wanted to put out another video here today, again from this channeling that I had from my higher self. I was beginning to ponder what the new transition would look like, and realized that some of my neighbors seem like they're still just slogging through this 3D world, and going to work every morning and doing all their remodeling projects and throwing up fences and mowing the lawn and putting down bark dust and re-roofing the house. And I realized that was so important to me a year ago. A year ago I was just in the thick of that. At this point I just can't get myself motivated for any of that. I just don't care in a kind of a bland sort of way. It's just that it's not the highest importance to me anymore, and I can't get the motivation to focus on that. When I realized that the values of the world and I had in the past, the values, the things, the attributes that I admired the most were those about being busy and being productive and getting to the end of the day and being so proud of all the things you were able to accomplish. But I completely missed out on who I was, that it had very little to do with me anymore. It was about how much I could accomplish. And I realized that our entire human experience, at least in this industrial world that we live within, places value on how productive you are, how productive each of us are, of the skills that we have, the skill set that we have, and what we're able to do and accomplish. And on the other side, the spirit world really couldn't care less about what you get done, because everything is already done and prepared through easier means than we'll ever experience here on Earth. Telekinesis and teleportation and telepathy and all those amazing gifts will render all of those attributes of working hard and getting up early in the morning and making sacrifices completely useless. And I've realized we've made ourselves poor. We've neglected ourselves so long, to the point where this is like normal. All I do is I get up in the morning and I force myself to get out of bed, and I do things that I don't want to do all day, and I feel good about it at the end of the day. I didn't have a moment to meditate or even hear what the Spirit was saying to me. I didn't stop and smell the roses. May or may not have even kissed my wife on the way out the door, but that isn't really even relevant. The thing that's relevant is how much I accomplished. I realized that the world values these qualities as valuable and worthy of admiration. These characteristics are almost always at odds, often the exact opposite of the higher values of love, forgiveness, and honesty. Even worse, these characteristics ask us to deny our true selves, those callings inside that we're learning to listen more closely to. In the world, those who are admired have learned to continually deny their higher desires. Instead, they focus on learning something they do not care about, and they become proficient in an archaic, sterile system that is dying. They force themselves to become hard workers at something they have no passion for. But as we're transitioning or making this change, it's as if we are literally creating a reverse impression of what the world values. We know that there is a switch coming. In fact, a flip, if you will, is coming that will value these aspects that our higher self is asking for. I realize we're making an imprint, like in a concrete or something, of what the Spirit is valuing, and when that is flipped over, it's a completely different picture, and like a sculpture that's created by the reverse imprint of what the world is looking for. But you flip it over and it's in a beautiful sculpture, the most beautiful that's ever been seen on Earth. And it came from our faith, from listening to our hearts, and not continuing to march to the sound and to the beat of the world that we live within. To be able to look beyond the illusion and feel with our hearts, to live each moment by listening to our heart and listening in love. We can trust that we are being called to become authentic at all costs. In fact, I felt the Spirit saying that our truest beauty is measured only in how honest we can become with our true selves. We are called to complete nudity, without clothes, without makeup, without sucking it in, without all of the liposuction, all the things that we do here on Earth, and all the moisturizers and stuff that we do to try to hold on to beauty as long as we can because it's fading. Our beauty in the spirit world is measured by our authenticity, how authentic you can become with your true self. And please understand, we're talking about higher dimensions, the fifth dimension. I understand that here in the third world we comb our hair, and we put on clothes, and we do our best to not offend one another with our smell. But in the fifth dimension, that these attributes are, that we're not really trying to impress anyone anymore. We're really literally living in authenticity, living with who we are. Age isn't even a factor at that point. How heavy we are, or our shape, what we smell like, all of these things are completely irrelevant, and it has everything to do with our heart. And I wanted to just put that out there. There's a picture that Teal Swan had in one of her recent blogs of what this year 2017 is. A picture of a man who lives in a beautiful furnished apartment. He has everything he could ever possibly want. He worked hard and he got it. But somehow in the middle of the day he gets up, he grabs his keys, he walks straight out of his apartment, he throws the keys in the garbage, and he just walks on as if he's walking to the horizon, like none of it matters anymore. A complete disattachment. And I feel that deeply in my own spirit. That it's exactly right what we're going through. We're losing everything that we ever worked for. We've worked our entire lives for, and we just couldn't care less about it any longer. But I realize we walk into the horizon. As we're walking in the horizon, I can see him peeling off his clothes, and literally we're peeling off the skin of our 3D. We're walking to the horizon of the new world, shedding the skin that has held us and entrapped us, prisoned us, and we're walking into the sunset and the new horizon, the new chapter of our life, which is the Ascension. I look forward to seeing everybody in the fifth dimension. We'll all be there. Thanks for watching.